Greetings, fellow detectives. Wizard Kitten 774 here, bringing you the next video in our walkthrough for Nancy Drew, Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon. We've just kind of been making our way back down the train since we found Lori. We told Tino, we told John. Let's keep going this way. There's a gemstone here that we need to get. See, there's a peridot eye in the ram. And let's go through here. Cool, we could tell Charlena, too, that we found Lori.
Yes?
I found Lori. She's in the caboose. You were right. She disappeared because she wanted to see which of us would find her first.
And you won. Congratulations.
Did you know that Lori wants to be a romance novelist?
Doesn't everyone?
Do you think she could do it?
No. Could we please talk about something a little more pleasant?
The others on the train, John Gray and that police detective, do you know them very well?
I don't know them at all. Needless to say, I don't watch television, so I've never even seen Mr. Gray before. Although I do know that his profession, if you can call it that, is rife with crackpots. As for Mr. Balducci, from what I've read, his success in solving those robberies was less a matter of talent and more a matter of being in the right place at precisely the right time.
Do you think he's a good investigator?
No. You and those two Boy Scouts you're with would make better detectives. Is that all, dear?
Thank you, I guess. Everyone on this train is so condescending.
Well, I'll let you go.
All right, then.
It's so funny, though. I mean, the team that did the writing...
Is this Jake and his wife?
Yes. From what I've read, Camille loved to sing and dance, even in death, apparently. Jake reportedly told people that after she died, he would sometimes see strange glowing lights outside the windows at night, bobbing gracefully alongside the train as if dancing with it. He said he found the sight very comforting. I suspect normal people would have found it terrifying.
I mean, I certainly would have found it terrifying.
Nancy!
Oh.
What's with the Cheshire Cat grin?
You found Lori.
Yep, she's holed up in the caboose, and as a reward for finding her, she let me have this. It's a letter from Jake to his niece in which he leaves clues telling her how to find his mine. Only the clues are extremely obtuse.
You found Lori, you got the letter with all the clues. Guess you don't need us anymore.
Oh, Joe, quit pouting. Want any help?
Are you kidding? You bet I do.
Now you're talking.
It stands to reason that the only person other than Jake who had to have known the location of Jake's mine was the engineer on Jake's train.
Very true.
Not necessarily. Jake might not have told him the exact location. Maybe he just had him drop him off somewhere nearby.
Well, still, we'd be way ahead of the game if we knew where that drop-off point was.
It would be nice to know his name.
The guy died more than 100 years ago. How are we supposed to find out his name?
Maybe Charlena What's-Her-Face could tell us how to go about it.
Good idea, Frank. I'll ask her. I found a diagram for some kind of contraption that Jake designed, but to operate it you need his pickaxe and some kind of lamp or lantern, which it looks like he gave to somebody named Buell.
Buell? Joe, show her!
Show her what?
That old picture we found!
Okay.
We found this on the bookshelf. See? Buell's Supplies and Pawn Shop. That's gotta be the same Buell Jake gave his axe and lantern to.
Yeah, 100 years ago. And the guy was a pawnbroker, Frank. The stuff's probably long gone.
Or maybe it's still somewhere in Copper Gorge.
Well, that's where we're headed, so let's just hope for the best.
Right.
Seems like a slim chance.
Balducci wants me to share everything I find out about Jake Hurley with him.
I'll bet he does.
He just doesn't want you to show him up again.
Yeah, he wants you to do all the legwork so at the last minute, bam! He can swoop in and grab all the credit.
I wouldn't tell him a thing, Nance.
Unless it's to get lost.
I agree.
See you later.
You know where to find us.
Okay, so that gives us a few more things to go off of. Let's get this, because that is a gemstone. No other gemstones that I know of that we've seen yet. Let's ask about the engineer.
More questions?
How would I go about finding out the name of Jake's train engineer?
If you're smart, you'd ask me. And because my work is going surprisingly well, during my next break, I'll log on to my archives at home and see what I can turn up.
That'd be great, thank you.
Whoever invented the cellular modem, that's whom you should thank, dear.
I'll let you get back to your writing.
All right, then.
Okay, so she's gonna do that for us. Let's see. What else can we do in the letter? We've got the map. Need the projector. He stored his name, a warm place in my heart. We really can't do anything about that yet. Give the dolls an order. This will require looking inside Camille's dancing shoes for the name of their maker, wearing the shoes as you perform her favorite step on the dance floor. Let's go get that taken care of. Because we have her dance shoes, and we found the hurly birdie or whatever on earth that dance thing was, so we can do that. And that should get us going. We're on our way through the train. And I love that you actually jump outside every time you go to a different car. That's just so realistic. I mean, I love that they didn't just black that out. It's actually a thing that you have to do. Where am I? Oh yeah, dancing shoes. Whoa!
Somebody must have thrown the emergency brake.
That surprised me.
Question is, did somebody throw the brake? Or something?
Oh, Joe, now you sound like Lori.
Hey, I was the first one on the scene, and I saw no one.
What did the engineer say?
He said the train could have derailed. He reset the brake, muttered a few choice words, then headed back to the engine just as you and Lori showed up.
Everybody was there except Charlena. I don't think she left her laptop the whole time.
There's no way Lori could have thrown the brake, unless she had someone else do it.
The question is, why? What did she or anybody else stand to gain by stopping the train?
Answer? Nothing. Which is why I think we should at least consider the possibility that something less human in nature may be at work here.
Ah, Joe.
I'm going to see if Balducci's done dusting for fingerprints. Catch you later.
Well, that was odd. Charlena, what do you think about that?
More questions?
Do you have a theory as to who pulled the emergency brake?
Well, I know it wasn't me. I assume it wasn't you, and I highly doubt it was Lori. So that leaves those two friends of yours, Mr. Gray and Mr. Balducci.
What do you think their motive was?
I don't know about your friends, but perhaps those other two simply thought it would be fun. Boys will be boys.
Were you able to find the name of Jake's train engineer?
I came across 3 references to the fact that Jake had an engineer, but I'm afraid none of them included his name. I failed. Sorry.
Would you like to see the letter that Lori gave me as a reward for finding her?
The one in which Jake Hurley supposedly tells his niece how to find his lost mine? No, thank you. I happily leave it to you to try to solve the mystery of his disappearance. You can afford to look foolish, dear. I can't.
Aren't you even going to try finding out what happened to Jake Hurley?
No time. The only reason I haven't insisted that Lori release me from all this silliness is there's always the possibility that what happened to him has the makings of a bestseller, although I highly doubt it.
Why are you so sure that Jake's story wouldn't make a bestseller?
His story is an all too common one. A man wanders off into the desert in search of gold and never returns. Why? He either doesn't have enough food or water, or he encounters hostile natives.
But why was his train found out in the middle of nowhere with just the dead engineer on board?
That does make the story a little more interesting. My guess is the engineer got tired of waiting for Jake to return, took off in the train to get help, and died of a heart attack along the way, after which the train rolled to a stop in Blue Moon Canyon. Anyone experienced enough to single-handedly run a steam engine would have been quite a bit older than Jake.
What do you think happened to Camille?
She probably died of something mundane like pneumonia or even measles. Now, if it was wintertime when she died, and they were in the mountains, Jake no doubt kept her body on the train for months before he buried her, which is rather delicious in a morbid sort of way.
Those are strange words to use to describe that.
Well, I'll let you go.
My publisher thanks you.
I don't like using the word delicious when it comes to a corpse, Charlena. That's just strange. Okay, emergency brake right here.
Looks like Tino's through dusting for fingerprints.
There's quite a few fingerprints on it, it looks like. Let's pull it. No, let's not. That would be bad. Okay, so if he's done dusting for fingerprints, maybe we can ask him what he found. Not sure why, again, anyone would be pulling the emergency brake, but maybe we can figure it out. And then we'll make it back to the other car and look at the dancing shoes.
Sup?
So are you making any progress in here?
Oh yeah, not only am I getting some real unusual EMRs, that's electromagnetic readings, but take a look at this.
You've got something?
I set up a camera and took some time-lapse photos. Sometimes I was in the room, sometimes I wasn't, but somewhere along the line, I managed to get a shot of Camille.
Where? You don't mean that little blob, do you?
Yep, that's Camille.
Okay.
You're skeptical. That's cool. Just remember, the key word when it comes to ghostly phenomena is energy. That blob is the result of Camille's residual life force, spirit if you will, reacting with the chemicals in the photographic paper.
Couldn't it just be a flaw in the photographic paper?
Okay, it could be that too, but it's not. Trust me.
I won't keep you any longer.
Pleasure talking to you.
Okay, it could be that too. Meaning that's more than likely what it is. But okay. You do you, John Gray. Alright, Balducci. I don't really want to talk to you, but I don't really have a choice. So, tell me what you found out. What was that? Why are there... little... Those things were in John Gray's room. Tino's card. I don't know, that's weird.
Glad you dropped in. Lori told me she'd given you a letter from Jake Hurley that says how to find his mine.
I didn't mention it before because it's very bizarre.
Lori should have given that to me. I mean, I'm the trained professional around here. Let me take a look. I've seen enough. 2 words. Useless. Those are just the rantings of a guy who spent way too much of his life swirling mud around in Pandora in the hot sun. 5-star nut job.
Lori says she found this letter in a wastebasket.
Exactly where it belongs.
Did you find any fingerprints on the emergency brake handle?
None that were any help, thanks to Casey Jones up there. I told the old geezer not to touch anything, but he went and got his big, fat, oily paw prints all over the place. If we didn't need him to drive the train, I'd charge him with obstruction of justice.
Did you do anything else besides look for fingerprints?
Of course. As a matter of fact, I found this. Probably fell out of the perp's pocket while he was yanking on the handle.
Looks like some kind of thermometer.
Yeah, like the kind a certain ghost hunter uses on that bogus show of his.
You think John Gray threw the brake? But why would he do that?
Because they're thinking about axing his show, that's why. I checked with this buddy of mine in L.A. Gray's got to come up with something real big real soon, or he's toast. And you can't get much bigger than a train with a spooky past that's prone to strange accidents, now can ya?
Have you confronted John with your suspicions?
All in due time. I always like to get my ducks in a row before I make an arrest.
You're going to arrest him?
Hey, the train could have derailed. We're talking reckless endangerment, attempted assaults, maybe even attempted murder. John Gray wanted publicity. That's exactly what I'm gonna give him.
Thanks for your help.
Helping people is what I'm all about.
As you discuss arresting them, even though you have very circumstantial evidence. Seems a bit rash, I would say at least. Alright. Oops, didn't want to do that. Let's go into this car again. We need to take a picture of those shoes. Let's hope we can actually make it to the car this time. Okay, we actually made it. No one threw the brake. Progress. Okay, let's take a picture of these shoes.
Darn, the name of the shoes is so faded I can't tell what it is. Maybe Bess and George can help me figure out who made them.
Right, so let's take a picture of those, because we need to know the name. Okay, and let's send to Bess Marvin. Picture has been sent. Perfect. Okay, so now that that's done, I think we might leave this part here. So I will see you in the next part, fellow detectives. Thanks for watching.